could have voted illegally, based on the studies that he's seen. But he's very clear that he won the election based on the 306 electoral votes that he got. We're here on day two. I think let's not prejudge what we may or may not do in the future.
Congresswoman, have you seen any of the studies that Donald Trump says he's seen to prove that millions of people voted illegally?
Well, Donald Trump continues to come up with what is actually lying. He does not have any information, any documentation that 3 to 5 million people voted illegally. It's absurd. He continues to do and say these kind of things. As a matter of fact, he has gone from saying that there were millions who was at his inauguration ceremony when there were no millions there for him. And now he's saying that 3 to 5 million people voted illegally. It's ridiculous, it's absurd, but it's going to catch up with him. I know that he thinks he can do anything he wants to do and get away with it. But I want to tell you, it's 1,000 nicks, and he's going to absolutely undermine his total credibility if he keeps up with these lies.
Congresswoman Arna Halley-Jackson asked one of your colleagues, Steve King of Iowa, about this. I know he's getting blowback on both sides, certainly from Lindsey Graham and from others, certainly on the Democratic side, but Steve King of Iowa, a Republican and somebody who supported Donald Trump, defended him. Take a listen to what he said.
Well,
we don't actually, hold on, Congressman, we don't actually have that sound, but he basically said there is data out there. Do you think Congressman King has seen this information that Donald Trump claims he's seen? And if so, if 2 to 3 million people voted illegally in this country, isn't it imperative for the President of the United States to share that information, share that evidence with the American public?
Absolutely, and he doesn't have any evidence. He doesn't have any information that would show that 3 to 5 million people voted illegally. And I don't care who is supporting him and defending him. If other Republicans are defending him, they're lying. They don't have the information. And again, these lies are going to catch up with him. It is absolutely absurd for the President of the United States to continue this outrageous lying. And he can't get around it. Once he's pinned down, he's simply going to try and back out of it, or he have these talking heads coming on trying to clean up behind him, and they can't do it. It was shown that when Ms. Kelly tried to clean up behind him, when he talked about how many people showed up for his inauguration, and she came up with this ridiculous thought about alternative facts. I mean, it's crazy. It doesn't make good sense. They can keep going down this road, but it's going to backfire on them.
Congresswoman, this is nothing new. They did this during the campaign. Donald Trump talked about birtherism early on in his campaign. He certainly was the, at the forefront of the birtherism argument. He talked about crime stats that were not true. And oftentimes at his campaign rallies, he would massively exaggerate the number of people that were actually there, even when they were very large crowds. What does it say about this country that a man who often didn't say true things, often said falsehoods if you want to be polite about it, was elected in the Electoral College?
Well, let me just say this. I think that he got away with a lot during the campaign, and frankly, I don't think the press drilled down hard enough on him.
No, hold on, no, I'm not going to let you say that on my air, because we drilled down really hard on him. That is not true, Congresswoman.
Let me just say this. When on Sunday, when Chuck Todd really took him on, that was the first time I'd seen Chuck Todd take him on. And I want to tell you, after he refused to show his tax returns, he could show up time and time again, and the question was not asked. It should have been asked every time he showed up.
That question was asked all the time at news conferences. Reporters did their job. They did their job in extraordinary circumstances. And I don't think you can blame the press for not going after Donald Trump on the facts.
Listen, I'm not absolutely blaming the press. I'm just saying we all should do a better job of challenging him, pushing back on him, and showing that he's a liar. And every time he shows up anywhere, whether it is in a crowd, where he's doing a speaking engagement, etc., we should press him on all these lies that he's telling. I think that what I'm seeing now Based on what I saw on Sunday, it's beginning to happen the way I think it should happen. And he doesn't have sense enough, or he's not sane enough to know that he has stepped way over the line and that he's going to start to lose his so-called believers. Let him keep it up, because it's going to backfire on him.
Congresswoman Maxine Waters, thank you for being here. Also,
You're
thank
welcome.
you very much for allowing me to defend my colleagues and fellow journalists out there.
Oh, no,
I do
that's
appreciate
okay.
it.
No, I understand it, but let's get him.
I'm going to leave that to you. Next, Trump's executive orders advance